Hey everyone, Karen the Warp Spinster here. Welcome to my channel and thanks for joining me today. It's always good to see you. I was going to do something different this week, but I think I'm going to do more with the X's. Thank you for all of your comments and suggestions, and it made me think, let's just try some of these things out. This may by necessity be a fairly short video. They're doing a lot of work next door, and it doesn't look or sound like it's going to be finished anytime soon. I think today they're redoing a retaining wall and cutting down a couple of trees, so it's likely to get noisy, and it's going to be noisy for a while. So I'm going to try to film in between. Some of the sound is going to be more than I can filter out. So again, this may be short. I will at least try to do photos and maybe some voiceover later. Anyway, so Quilty Cat had commented that she liked the 9 patches in there, just do something different, and it could add some interest for sure. And Barbara thought that some solid blocks might be nice, which rather than blocks, I think I might do the fillers and try that out, see what we think of that. And Michelle wanted black and white stripes and circles because Michelle likes black and white stripes and circles, as do I. We'll see how that goes, but we have a vote for that as well. So it sounds like they're getting geared up to get the heavy equipment going. I want to do some 9 patches that have prints, some 9 patches that are all solids, and some 9 patches that have white as one of the alternating colors in it. I think that's going to make it look like the quilt has holes in it, so that it's going to be too jarring, but we'll see. Maybe that will add some interest to it. And then for the fills, I think I will do solids rather than prints, although there's no reason we couldn't try prints as well. So I will get started on some of those and check back in with you when I have a few to lay out and see how they look. I have made some more X blocks and a few of the 9 patches. I wish I had a pointer like the nuns used back when I was in grade school. I suppose all teachers did, not just nuns. Anyway, this dowel will have to do. So I've got just a few 9 patches of different sizes. This is hard to do through the camera. That's very strange. My eye-hand coordination, as you all know, is not that great anyway. So what I am finding out is that I don't mind the white too much as long as there's white elsewhere, and there's a little bit of white in here, and then I can start introducing it as fillers. I begin to think that maybe rather than full pieces here, that maybe doing some squares would be useful. I'm also uncertain about this block, though once I started introducing some darker blocks, it wasn't so bad. So as with everything scrap, you have to see everything as a whole. I also introduced a different green here, which I may or may not like. I think it'll be okay if I add in some more greens. I'm trying not to do anything too boldly warm color. So not bright reds. I've got some pinks here, but they're kind of softer. So far I think I'm all right with things, although it will depend on what else I put with it. So I will keep making some. I have to do some work now on Motorcycle Muma, and I may have an update for you on her in a bit, but this is just plugging along with the X's. The 9 patches, except for this that has the white in it, are really blending in pretty well. I am noticing, if I just sort of squint, that this is like a mad plaid. It's sort of a diagonal plaid that's gone a little bit wild, and I like that. So far so good. Let me know what you all are thinking at this point. One of the things that we thought about trying with these X's was doing some black and white stripes. You could, of course, do this with prints, but scraps for me I have a lot of them in solids, and I love solids. And I think this has some real possibilities in terms of sort of graphic designs you could do in your layout. So I think that's pretty interesting. Don't know that I want to include it in the quilt that I already have, although I'll try it, we'll see. And then, sorry, I'm holding this camera by hand today. The possibility of circles, because that possibility always exists in my world. Don't like those grays. Could do that. Again, I would want more blocks before I thought about circles. And I will try it out with the larger piece just to see how it looks, and who knows, you know, I might be surprised. I apologize for the very choppy nature of this week's video. It's just catch as can. I'm back with this again. Did I mention this is a very choppy video? I was thinking that I would do this scrappy with a lot of different fabrics that I have in solids, but it might be interesting and more subtle, I guess, to use the same color family, I guess I would say. So lots of different red purples or teal blues and greens, and then have that be what holds it together. You could do all kinds of different X's then, or you could keep them consistent. So there are so many possibilities here. That's the best thing about scrap quilts. I have now included those two solid pieces with the black and white stripes in, and it's not horrible, but it's still a little jarring to me. It's another print, and I've used prints in others of the X's, but I don't know, somehow just doesn't seem right to me. And then I've also thrown on 3 circles. Probably need to have some larger ones on there to have much impact. And the gray ones, I would have to have enough contrast with the fabrics behind it to really work well. But no, it's a possibility. You know how much I like circles, but we'll see. I just want to give you some idea of how various things might work, and might give you some ideas for what you would like to do. So far, I'm liking it as I had it before. I did put in a few pieces, a few blocks that I think you hadn't seen before, but it's getting there. I'm working on it, and I do like it enough. I think it's partly because it's scrappy and just a little bit chaotic, which some days it's interesting to me. There's a lot of movement in it, and so I would like to continue this and make a big enough quilt to curl up under in the winter time, the gray winter times of January and February, when I just want a little brightness. I do like that teal blue and green combination, and I noticed that Motorcycle Muma has that too, so that must be my preferred color palette at the moment. Anyway, let me know what you think about what you would do with this and other ideas you might have for it. They are building a retaining wall today. And before the reverse beeping of the skip loader starts up again, I thought I would just check in and do a little update on Motorcycle Muma. The bottom half I have all basted on, and I'm in the process of appliquing it. And it's slow, but it's going okay. And once this is finished, then I can put the top half on and start appliquing that. I did find some stabilizer. Got some stabilizer that's more paper-like than what I had before, and I did not like as much as the paper style. This is a thinner one than I am accustomed to using for machine embroidery, but that's okay. This isn't machine embroidery. Seems to be working fine. So that is my project to start out here today, and then I'm going to do some more of the X's and some more on my poppies of the field, and I'll give you a little update on that a bit later too. But for now, I'm back to appliquing. And I forgot to mention, in case anyone is interested, I'm using a narrow zigzag 1.0 and 1.0, both length and width, and I'm using Superior Threads monopoly thread in the top and the bobbin. Today we are cutting down trees, so I can't do this where I usually do it. Pardon the wavering handheld camera. And it's 100 degrees. I'm afraid to ask what the heat index is. So the air conditioning is running quite a lot, and I'm trying to get this in before that all takes up again. But I wanted to show you my poppies of the field, which is finished now except for finishing the edges. I think it's just going to be white binding. I mean, facing is a possibility, but I tend to like binding better. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's quite puffy because it's puffy, the poppies and the centers I have padded with batting. And this one I pieced the black strips on, then did the quilting, and from there I have attached the poppies on. So I'm really pretty happy with that. I had thoughts of maybe doing a couple other things, but I sometimes like minimalist type quilts, so that's what this is going to be. And then if we step over this way, here is where the, oh, they're gearing up the chipper again. Here is where I am with the X quilt. I put in this piece recently, I think since I last talked with you, and I wasn't sure about it. I think it'll be okay. I put a 9 patch up here with that same green, and I think it's okay as long as I kind of spread things out. This purple is, this pinky purple is working okay, I think. So, I mean, I'll see as I make more X's and 9 patches and spread them out, but I think that it's going to be okay. We'll see. I have lots of blogs to make yet because I do want this to be a pretty good sized quilt in the end. I am, however, I took a photo because I'm going to have to pick this up. I've got AC clean and check coming up, and my new long arm is supposed to be coming hopefully on Thursday. I've got an arborist come to assess trees. Lots going on this week, and this is sort of in the way of my front door and my hallway. So I think I'd better gather it up. I think that will be it for this week. I know it's very choppy and short. I apologize for that, but that's just life in the neighborhood these days. Thank you again for joining me and for putting up with the choppiness. Next week I have something else in mind. I hope to see you then, and in the meantime, be well, be safe, be happy, be quilting. Peace out.